Hello Pisces friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my Pisces November 2024 Astrology Horoscope Forecast. I'm calling the theme of this month, Pisces Phoenix Rising from Eclipse Ashes. And by the time you're listening to this, the vast majority of the news, the events, the information, the experiences from that September eclipse in your sign, plus the next eclipse in Libra that was in October, a lot of those stories will be told by now, and your new normal is going to arise from whatever changes happen then. It could have been the most blessed of times with that beautiful grand trine kite that we had for your special eclipse. But sometimes when we have eclipses in our sign, we have to say goodbye to things that we're not ready to say goodbye to. And either way, if you're listening to this now, you are here and you are rising from the ashes of whatever burnt up in your previous experience. So moving into November, we have a much softer, less chaotic, less stressful series of star sequences. So I'm going to go into all of the details about that now. This is for you if Pisces is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or any other Pisces placement you're listening for. What I'm going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. And if you're very late degree Pisces friends, so birthdays like March 15th through the rest of the sign, or Pisces degrees like 23 degrees through the rest of the sign, I suggest you additionally listen to my Aries report, as your very late degree friends will benefit from both readings. Okay, so this month is so much less busy. We have not only the tail end of eclipse season rather than the heat of it, like was September and October, but we also have just less aspects in the sky. October was a doozy. September and October, definitely two of the most intense months of the whole 2024. And November is just more chill for various reasons. First of all, not in the heat of eclipse season. Second of all, not as many actual transits coming together. Third of all, not as many salty aspects, as I call them, when the planets aren't getting along. And while we do have the fourth month in a row that has an annoying imbalance of salty aspects compared to sweet ones, there are still just fewer salty aspects. So, and in between that, we've got a lot of beautiful 7 very, very sweet aspects that will be lighting up the month. And we'll talk about a couple of those soon. Something else that's unusual and noteworthy about this time that's going to add to the relaxed experience of this time is that usually we think of this as Scorpio time. The sun will be moving through Scorpio until around the 23rd of November. And often other planets like here, Mercury. Oh, and by the way, if you're listening to the podcast version, I am putting the photo of the chart as the thumbnail if you want to refer to it and you know anything about what you're looking at. If you want to understand more of what you're looking at, I am using the chart as the basis of the YouTube syndicated version, so you can see the visuals of me working on it there. So we start out the month with Mercury joining the sun in Scorpio, which would be a typical start to a Scorpio party, and often there are other personal planets there. But very soon in the month, Scorpio transits out and goes into Sagittarius to join Venus, to join Pallas Athena, and then also the sun will get into Sagittarius later in the month, and Mercury will do its moving forward and then retrograde and then moving forward again in Sagittarius. So we actually have an extended Sagittarius season this year. So that's going to make this month a lot less emotional compared to how often, or what usually happens in November. And even though that puts some of these planets not in the beautiful trine that you will usually have at this time, you will still get those beautiful, nicest aspect in all of astrology trine with the sun, and you will have gotten them from Mercury in October into November. So, those things are still happening, where you have blessings that will light up your life and the things that excite you, that will bring, communication and deep emotional connections and conversations. But the vast majority of the energy is going to be in fire. So that means a few things. First of all, I always say that whenever we have fire transits for a Pisces, that's going to be the, fire under your watery pot. And this, bubbles you up and gets you going, for better or worse. This can be, someone antagonizing you, or this can be you just having the impetus to do the things that you need to do and getting stuff done. And a lot of that's going to be centered around your job, your work and career, your place out in the world, getting things going with your, your work sector, getting things going as far as what you're doing with your life. But this is all going to happen under the cloak of Mercury retrograde. November 8th will begin the pre-shadow period for Mercury retrograde. And then that shadow will deepen every day until the official retrograde on November 25th. And then the official retrograde lasts until December 14th. And the post-transit shadow goes until January 3rd. So basically all of November and all of December, we are working within the cloak of the retrograde. Now, at the same time, so I'm building the story because everything in the, in our astrological experience is like, it's a web of connectivity, and it also has layers. So we can't speak to certain things without also adding in these other layers. So what's also going to be happening is Mars is impending in its, getting close to its retrograde, okay? And Mars is going to be retrograde December 6th. But as of October 7th, every day we've gotten deeper into Mars retrograde. And so retrograde energies bring us inward and backward. They bring us closer to the things in front of us and further from the things that like our long distance dreams or trying to plan into the future. This month is very much a month to be the spider in the web and to wait for the food to come to you. And this is going to be hard in some ways because you're going to have all of this impetus. There's so much fire from the Sag planets. And then Mars, which was in a water sign, so you've had an epic September, October of trines with Mars. So hopefully that has been motivating for you and got, given you great progress and great ambition, and lit up your love sector and your passions. And, you've had that experience. And now it's kind of time to get down to business. And so what Mars is doing now is moving into a fire sign, Leo. And then as it progresses in Leo, then once it gets to December 6th, it will retrograde back into Cancer. So you will get those trines again. But for now, what we need to know is that your motivation may be slipping, or it could be on the other end of the spectrum. You could be completely obsessed about certain things, but maybe not the things you're supposed to be doing. But the most important thing to know is that it's fire, okay? And that means that this is impetus. So you've got not only impetus in your work and career and employment sector, your place out in the world, healing father or parent issues, healing authority issues, healing issues of confidence of stepping into your authority. But we also have our daily routine and daily work. So the things right in front of you, your work, your car, your office, everything around what you see every day is going to be coming front and center. And the retrogrades are going to be kind of reiterating that. So this would be a time to clear the dust off of the things that need to be dealt with. If you have piles on your desk, this month is fantastic for dealing with that. So any burst that you get from the fire signs can be that push you need to crack out of a matrix of avoidance of certain things. And then you can translate that into the obsessive energies, okay? So Mars can make us lazy in retrograde, or it can make us obsessed about things. But again, often they're happening at the same time. Like you're lazy about certain things, but super just completely mono-focused on something. But you are going to want to take action this month. And because it's in a retrograde and because you can't plan that far into the future, because, retrograde times, it's very difficult to plan for the future. The best way to do it is to just do the things that have to be done that you've been avoiding and let this be a super catch-up month, a wrap-up month, to wrap up the year and start to get things ready and clear for next year. This is a time to ask questions like, is your flow in your day-to-day experience effective? The sixth house, what you do every day. Could you put things in a more efficient place? Do you always lose your keys? Maybe you can put up a key hook by your door so that you always know where your keys are and you can put them in when you get in, etc. Just like little things like that seem like they don't matter a lot are going to be the things that matter the most right now. It's just looking through every day and seeing what can make things easier, more in the flow, more efficient, so that you can do less work and get more done. You also might find that you're either getting very lazy about or super obsessed about your health. Okay, with Mars moving through here. Mars is not retrograde yet. It is moving forward. So, even though it's in this shadow of this impending retrograde, you may find that you can get some things done and that you get very motivated to do that. Exercise, getting some experimental diets. And the reason why I say experimental is because experimental is one of the great words of the retrograde. So it's not the best time, November, to launch your life's work if you can help it, or to try to put anything out in the world that is its first birth baby time. Now, of course, if you're having a baby, that's not something you're actively, deciding. These things are things that you have in your control. Anything that's coming to fruition or coming up as an opportunity or happening at this time, you don't have to stress about those things. You just focus on not contriving or forcing anything and focusing on the things that have to be done and that are a shorter term kind of thing. So if that makes sense. So experimental energy is one of the best things to do at this time is the point. So experimenting with a new diet, with some new supplements, with new, medical things. This is a great time to try things on without having to commit to them if possible. So if you need a job, a temporary job may be one of your best ways to go. And there is a lot of activity around your employment right now. If you're not working and don't need to work because you're retired, this could be your yoga schedule or your passion projects or the things that you do every day. This can also pertain to pets and animals, the sixth house. So, there's going to be a lot of energy around these things, all of them. And they're going to be making this pressure angle for Pisces. So, you don't have to be afraid to take action in the retrograde, especially when we have this much fire. What we're trying to avoid is taking finite action with things that are not easily fixable or reversible. You see, if it's something that you do and it's like, oh, okay, you can quickly fix that. Like if you have extra money and you want to go shopping and if you wind up hating the things that you buy, it doesn't really matter. Then it doesn't matter. But if you have your life savings and you're going to try to spend it on something particular, it may be that you might change your mind about that thing, so it's just a shorter term energy. Now, something else that's happening, I know we just kind of glossed over this, but I'm going to come back to it. Even though we aren't going to have a Scorpio dominated month because Sag is going to take that over, we do still have a few days of Mercury in Scorpio at the beginning of the month, and we do still have the sun moving through Scorpio. So those relationships, deep connections with relationships, making a beautiful trine to Pisces placements. In the days around November 2nd and 3rd, Mercury is going to come and make a trine with, or a sextile with Pluto. That's a couple of great days. November 18th, the sun will come into the late degree and make a sextile with Pluto. Those are beautiful aspects that can bring really nice, important emotional connections with people, spiritual breakthroughs, poetic, prolific poetic production, things like that of these ethereal, watery, emotional, private, behind the scenes types of energy, can really show up strongly. And as the planets move through Scorpio, they actually light up for Pisces, the ninth house, which is ruled by Sagittarius. So you see what I mean about not getting away from the Sag energy this month, because even the Scorpio placements are going to highlight that. So teaching and learning and long distance travel and immigration and, philosophical discussions and breakthroughs. All of those things are very important now. Publishing. Now, even though I said it might not be the best time for a big launch of a book or something else, it's definitely an amazing time for writing or for writing speeches or creating content. And if you have launches that are things that are intended to be short term, like a promo, this is a fantastic time for a promo, even though that's a launch, because the promo only lasts so long, making it short term. You see? So if you can kind of just wrap your head around, I'm trying to give you the tools to understand the basics of what's going on here, so that you can take those then and apply it to the many examples that you're not going to be able to ask me about to see how they apply, So that's what I'm trying to do. So referring back to this energy of the Pisces Phoenix rising from the eclipse ashes, now that the eclipses have given their news, and now that you have a better idea of how they're going to manifest, remember that that eclipse cycle is running from now into 2027. So you're starting to see the themes that will start to come up. If something challenging happened, don't worry. That doesn't mean that that's a harbinger for, what's going to happen for the next couple of years. There may be some sort of theme in it, but it might not be that exact event that repeats. So all of this Sagittarius energy and all of the fire that's coming from the Leo can give you a lot of optimism. It can give you a lot of hope, and it can give you a lot of incentive. And even though a lot of the energies are dialing backwards, you still can use that productively. Like if you're writing a book, editing is amazing. Anything basically that begins with the prefix RE, redo, regenerates, relearn, basically going back over anything that you did in the past, adjusting it, making it better. This is a great time to edit your website, to go do those annoying edits that are not as fun, to revamp, to upgrade, to, do things like that are just kind of like basic housekeeping for everything in your life. This is a beautiful time to do that. Fixing the cabinet in the kitchen, things that have basically been sitting and waiting while you've been spinning around doing whatever else. And now is a time for you to really focus on those things. All of this is with this optimism, this rebirth, this newness, this freshness of coming from a darker place and entering a better place, or coming from an old place and coming to a new place. This is a major time of rebirth. It's the beginning of a cycle where you can rework and redo every aspect of your life. These eclipses are happening in your 1st and 7th houses, which are me versus we. So you're revamping all of your relationships. We are still in the Aries Libra eclipse cycle storyline, which also highlights me versus we. So, you're redoing all of your relationships. You're redoing your physical body. You're redoing your health. Everything is re. So anything that you can go back to, things that worked in the past are great to bring back around now. Things that you want to try new are great to experiment with. If you can try clothes on and then be able to return them, like if you ordered them online and you can return them, or you can do something like what my friends and I would do. We would have a clothing swap where everyone brings their old clothes, puts them in a giant pile, and then everyone leaves there with new clothes without having spent any money, so it's an experimental thing. It's a thing where you don't have to put a lot of resources in, but you can get a lot out. And that is one of the basic themes of the time too. So a couple of things to keep in mind. I also want to bring our friend, the earthworm, here, because the deepening Mars retrograde, soon to be actual retrograde, in December, with very, very deep, pre-transit happening now, is going to really be affecting us into May of 2025, because by the time that goes direct, Mars goes direct, there's still a shadow period afterwards, and we have a very retrograde-y first quarter next year. By the way, I give you monthly, information about the retrogrades and the cycles, but if you go to anniehelpsyou.com and you scroll down on the page that you see there, you'll see Secret Star Portal. The Secret Star Portal is where I have my 2025 retrograde direct planning calendar. So if you want all of the open windows for your plans, that like forward moving energy next year to do important things that you want to last longer, and your big launches and times that are easier for scheduling, you can get that in the Secret Star Portal, because, most of the time is just a time to do what is right in front of you, and to not conjure and to not force, and to be the earthworm, where you go back over and over and over soil. The earthworm puts the soil in, it puts the soil out, and as a result, it gets super fine and ready for new growth. But this process of going back over everything, and Mars rules anger. There may be things you have to go through and use spiritual or psychological processes to forgive. And you might need to do this for your own health. This is the house of health. So it's possible that something that someone else did to you is affecting your health now because of you not being able to let it go. So this is a fantastic time to do things like NLP, EMDR. You can look up these acronyms, EFT. These are emotional and mental clearing, basically inner work. And this time is very much about going over those things. If you're trying to get your relationships situated, because this is a big theme of this time, doing inner work on why you draw in the same type of person might be in order. If you can't forgive someone and it's holding you back, this might be the type of thing that you use this fiery energy for, under your watery pot, to bring to a boil, to bring out, and to deal with and clear. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple more dates. Remember that you can go to anniehelpsyou.com, put your name and email address in, and get my November 2024 write-up. Basically, you get the welcome letter in your inbox, click on the archive link, and then put November 2024 astrology, and that will get you to my write-up that has all of my favorite dates, all of the dates to look out for and be extra awareful and careful of. So that's how you can get more dates, but I am going to give you some more right now. And one of those is November 1st. So November 1st, we've got a new moon at 9 degrees of Scorpio, bringing in new beginnings for deep relationships, intimacy, financial relationships, finances, loans, credit, etc. This can be a fantastic time for, building, like basically planting seeds for what can become your new and better relationships with others and with money. This is going to happen in the 9th house of Sagittarius. So all the things we talked about with teaching and learning and immigration and long distance travel and international business, you can also plant seeds for that. Now on that topic, Sagittarius rules education. So you may find yourself returning back to a type of education or an education program or something that you've wanted to learn. And this can be a major, major, major influence at this time. So, studying is very well indicated under all of the retrogrades. So you may find that new moon is working out there. Now, all of you will get the kisses from the new moon, but those of you who are from around February 25th through March 5th, the closer to around March 1st, February 28th, March 1st, March 2nd, you all will get the biggest kiss from that new moon, but nobody's left out of the potentials. But when you come into a closer mathematical angle, there's just more power there for you. Then on November 15th, we have a full moon at 24 degrees of Taurus. Fullness, completion, fruition, drama, coming to anything having to do with Taurian things, which is money, finances, income. And do note that this 24 degrees is also coming to Venus conjunct Uranus. So extra surprises, extra jolts for better or worse at this time, extra ingenious ideas. If you have any ideas for future business or for ideas to progress your current business or finances, write them down because Uranus energy is very fleeting. So you might find a lot of insights at this time, at this full moon, and some ideas may be elucidated. Be extra careful driving in the days around the 15th, days before and days after, because this is your sector of mobility, of driving, of cars, of bikes, of walking. If you are texting when walking or driving, I don't think it's a good idea to begin with. Of course, you're going to make your decisions, but this would be a time where if you had ever wanted to stop that habit, it would be extra important now. And I have had many, many times over the years when I've called out extra, we'll say danger or proclivity towards accidents in a certain time. I've had people telling them that has saved their life because my words came into their head at the last minute before they texted and were on the edge of a street and then a car passed or something like that. So, take that seriously. It's nothing to be scared of. It's just something to be aware of, this jolt, this thing coming out of the blue, this, either could be an insight or a vehicle or whatever it is. Around that full moon, there's extra power. And this is a super moon. We've had multiple super moons in a row. This is another super moon. And, that means that the moon is closer to the earth. So it looks bigger and its gravitational forces are more notable. But you could have something about your financial consciousness be released or revealed. You could have something come to fruition, like something you've been working on can come up in a big way, either in the Taurus, money sector or in the writing, because Gemini, 3rd house, is also a writing house, or mobility or a vehicle or a device or something like that. It makes it also more likely that you'll drop your device in the toilet or something happens to it, like you put it in a weird place and then it gets smashed. So it's just be extra careful around that time. Have a strange month. We actually have 3 notable moons in one month. November 30th through December 1st. This isn't going to be true for every time zone, but those of us, most of the people, yeah, in the United States, the Eastern time zone and westward, we're going to have this actually as a black moon, November 30th, new moon in Sagittarius, black moon. Black moon has multiple definitions, but one of them is the second new moon in a calendar month. So we do have that. Now for you all, Europe and that way, you're not going to have the black moon technically, because by the time the moon happens, it will already be the next day, which will be December. But you all will have a black moon at the end of December when we have that cap new moon, which will be the second one in December for your time zone. So it's just something, something interesting, something powerful, new beginnings with travel and all the saggy things basically that we talked about before. Everyone in every time zone can have new beginnings there, or a great trip or something like that. Overall summary, this is a month to recover from the things that have happened, for better or worse. Sometimes we have to recover from good news and good experiences too. This is a time where you are to take action, even though we have retrogrades. And the way you'll know what to take action on is what is showing up in your field yelling. Basically, retrogrades bring us to do the things that are the squeakiest. So the squeaky wheel will get the most oil at this time, rather than us saying, oh, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. Okay, what you have to do is what's squeaking right in front of you, because that's what the retrogrades require. Now, I used my little spider analogy telling you to have this month be a time where you sit and wait for things to come to you, and that is going to be a good thing to do for a while to come. But that doesn't mean you can't take action on closer things, local things, smaller things, experimental things. It's definitely an active time. It's not just a time to sit, but it's not a time to force things or try to force your new webs all over the place either. It is a time to hang out on the beach and see what the tides bring in. This is a time when the tides are coming in. And this is, if you try to put something out, the water will just bring it right back to you. So that's why, like I said, a promo could be good, because if you put a promo out, the results can come right back. If you're doing something experimental, you may know right away on how it's going to work. But it's not a time to try to put a new boat afloat, because it'll just come right back to you. But you can see what the water brings to you and then deal with that. If it's trash, throw it in the garbage. If it's recycling, put it in the recycling. If it's, something great like an aquatic visitor, then enjoy that time. And the retrograde may bring you many blasts from the past for friends and family, and things that you used to enjoy, or things left to deal with that had been swept under the rug. Okay, so I've given you some dates to note for this month. If you want more dates, because you want to see the sweet dates, the salty dates, when are the best days to do what, when are the best days to be awareful and careful of, then go to anniehelpsyou.com, put your name and email address, and then click receive. And then you'll get into your inbox my welcome letter. In the archive, click on the archive link and put November 2024 astrology in the archive link, and that will bring you to my November write-up. Okay, so plus you'll get all kinds of goodies, and I'm always thinking of new ways to get goodies to my free VIP crew, which is what you become when you sign up there. You'll get my free 28-day, very comprehensive virtual coaching program for free. You'll get a Train Your Brain subliminal audio to relax and unwind, to help you stay calm during tough astrological transits. You'll access my wonderland of astrology education to help you align with the natural rhythms of the month. I do send out monthly mini astrology lessons, and you do have access to all the archives as a member of my free VIP community. You also get access to my Eclipse resource page to understand those cycles as they go through, and my health tips for the zodiac signs. So you just get so much. You can find it all in the welcome letter, so you can go there. Now, on that same page, if you scroll down, you can access my secret star portal. This is where you will find my 2025 retrograde direct calendar for your planning, to know the open windows for next year, the times that will be much easier to push things out when the tides are going out. And if you want to learn astrology, I'm your girl. I've got a ton of free things. Obviously, if you're listening to my work, you see that I'm teaching for free online. But if you want a more structured system and you want to learn how to become a professional astrologer, either just to help yourself and your family and friends, or to earn money, that is my area of expertise. I've been teaching astrology for 20 years. I've been a successful astrologer for 20 years, and also a successful online practitioner for a good bit of that time. And it all comes through in my Become a Professional Astrologer Mastery course. So you can click on Up Level there and see my basics course, or which you get that course for free when you join the Professional Astrology Certification course. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.